Welcome into another edition of Across the Conference presented by Allstate on Big 12 Studios on this very special New Year's Eve edition along with Sydney Staples. I am Ari Temkin, and we're talking gymnastics on this edition of the show, Sydney. And I think before we dive into the Big 12, which obviously has Utah at the top of the conference, it's important to note that the scoring system that helps to define success based on getting to the tournament has actually changed this year. The NQS, whereas previously you were sort of allowed to weigh your top scores all equally, now there's a higher weight put towards meets that are on the road. So away meets become way more important in the scoring system this year than they've ever previously been, which really brings an interesting dynamic because it might mean you may rest some of your best gymnasts at home meets while the opposition coming in for a road meet may be playing their best gymnasts. Does that make sense?
No, it absolutely does. And I wonder how much of that is college football playoff related. When you think about a committee, taking into consideration what are more important wins versus others,
right.
Are some of these Olympic sports starting to kind of use that in their own metrics to determine things? Definitely some food for thought here.
Yeah, the coaches may approach this differently from the start of the year, into the middle of the year, and into the end of the year. But Sydney, last year Utah made it to 4 on the floor, made it to the Final Four. This year, they returned most from that team, including Avery Neff. Can anybody catch Utah in the Big 12 this year?
According to these preseason placements, if you will, and rankings, that's going to be tough. Okay, now the Big 12 conference is well represented. Again, nationally, it's something that we've talked about in so many of our episodes, how dominant this conference can be. But when I look at a Utah, listen, they're just coming off of an appearance in the national championship, if you will. Now we're looking at the fact that this is the 9th straight appearance for Utah in the appearance in the top 5. Hello.
Wow.
They know how to start off seasons. They know how to maintain that kind of ranking to when it really counts. I then look at the likes of Denver coming in at 16. Now they placed within the polls top 15 for, guess what, 11 consecutive years. So another team that we're seeing knows how to start off a season strong, but also, again, maintain that all the way through. I even think further down the line to Arizona, number 18. They're jumping up 12 spots from number 30 in last season's preseason poll. Okay, well done by the Wildcats. I'm impressed by something like that. Can they maintain it? Can they touch a Utah? We'll see. I then look down at the line even further to an Arizona State coming in at number 25 to round off that top 25 of Big 12 representatives, and the fact that they reached their 7th consecutive postseason appearance just a season ago. We've got some contenders here.
Yeah, and look, I mean, I think at the top of the conference, again, Utah, the expectation is they'll once again win the Big 12 and then compete at a national level for a national championship. That's going to be the goal for Carly Dockendorf's team. It's, how many other bids to the NCAA tournament and opportunities will the Big 12 have available to them? You mentioned Denver, Arizona State. What about BYU with the amount of money they've infused in some of their athletic programs? Can BYU, become an up-and-coming program in this conference? So it's really exciting when we look across the conference at everything happening at all sports, but I think gymnastics is one of the most major growth points for this conference in terms of the sport overall. And look, I mean, again, Oklahoma won the national title last year. They're perennial contenders to win a national title. So is Utah, and this will be a big opportunity for Utah to potentially break through at the top of the conference.
When you absorb some of those Pac-12 teams, and one of those being the likes of Utah, that's immediately putting your conference even higher.
Coming up, a conversation with Arizona's Abigail Martin. Along with Sydney Staples, I am Ari Temkin. This is Across the Conference, presented by Allstate on Big 12 Studios.
Abby, all right, when you think ahead when it comes to this season, what do you anticipate for you as an individual and for the rest of your team?
I think as a whole, I anticipate competitiveness. We have a really young and hungry team. And it's so exciting to see the 5 freshmen come in and fight for spots. And that's something that in my time here, I don't know if every lineup has been able to have a freshman in it. And I think this year they are going to be in all of them. And so if I had to use one word to describe it, I'd definitely say competitive and really eager and driven. And I guess that's more than one.
Yeah, who are these freshmen? Tell me about them.
So there's 5 of them. There's Hillary, Lily, Elle, Delaney, and Riley. They're from all over, but they bring the greatest energy. They're a lot more mature than I was as a freshman, that's for sure. And it's been really exciting to just watch them grow over the last 4 months. And I'm really excited to see what they're going to bring to the table.
How have you evolved since your freshman year?
Oh man. I have definitely changed a lot as a person. I think the hard part about coming into college is realizing, like, whoa, this is not an individual thing anymore. And no one ever wants to believe that they're like, self-centered. But I think for me, like finishing my freshman season, I had to take a step back and be like, whoa, this is a team thing. My freshman season was really hard for me. We had not the greatest team finish. And I think that lit a fire in me. I came back in the gym and I just wanted to be the best teammate and leader that I could be for my teammates. And that led into sophomore year, which was really exciting. And I think that people ask me, they're like, whoa, that was an awesome year. Like, what changed? And for me, it was all mental. Like, the transformation was just like that. And I think that during my sophomore year, I was put in a lot of mentally tough competitive situations that really only made me stronger. So, yeah, lots of change. I'm certainly glad I'm not the person I was 2 years ago, but
Very cool. Okay, mentality wise, I want to know, let's say from your sophomore year into now, how are you taking the success of sophomore year and building it now into your junior year and the fact that, all right, hello, like, let me just read off some of these stats, shall I? I mean, Little Miss all Big 12 all around team honoree last season. You scored third in beam with a career high at last year's Big 12 championship. Big 12 all around honors as a sophomore. Like, that was in a way a breakout season. So how does one build on that for junior year?
no, it was. And I think that building off of that, I have even more confidence this year. I think I was still, as a sophomore, you're still finding your footing. And I feel like a light really just like went off when I walked into the gym the first day of officials junior year. I was like, wow, I know what I'm doing here. Like, I'm not figuring it out anymore. I want to be a leader. I want to be a mentor. And so I think just utilizing that confidence that I gained during that year. This preseason has definitely been challenging for me getting into harder courses in school. My body's getting older. We can't do as many numbers as I used to, but I actually think that that is going to be a strength for me because every turn I take, I have to treat it like a competition. I don't get like 30 turns anymore. It's a couple, and you have to go in with that competitive mindset. And so I'm hoping to see that kind of turn on during season and just build off that competitiveness of sophomore year.
Why did you choose U of A? What do you like about Tucson?
So many reasons, but for me, what drew me in was the staff. I have always had a great relationship with John Court. I mean, he's been here 28 years. I think when people think of Arizona gymnastics, they think of John Court. And we called every single week from when I was 16, June 15th, even after I committed, after I signed, he called and just checked up on me. And I think that that relationship was something that was really special to me. And I think that I never even really seen a coach in this position be like, you are more than just an athlete. Like, you're a student, you're a daughter, you're a sister. And I think that he does a great job at molding us into young women who know how to go out in the world and be a leader and like have a career. And so that was my number one factor that I really drew me in, was that relationship. And I think aside from that, the team, it felt like a great fit from the moment I stepped on campus. And I tell everyone this because I don't, I'm like not someone who really believes in like, oh, like fate and everything happens. But I remember I was flying back from my unofficial and I looked out the plane window and I was like, I'm going to go to school here. I didn't have an offer, I didn't have anything, but I was like, I know it like in my heart and soul, I am going to go to school here. And so it's been great. When you know, you know, and everyone says that and you're like, no, that's not true. Like, you don't know. But when you know, it is very true.
Okay, when you're competing in a U of A uniform, representing your school, yourself, all of the years, time, and effort that you've put into it, what is your favorite event to compete, if you will?
Ooh, I would say my favorite event to compete has been floor. I didn't do it much my freshman year, and so if you'd ask me then, I'd probably be like, I don't know. But over the last year, I got to compete floor in every meet, and I feel like I just gained more confidence every routine I did. The energy in McHale, last event of the night, it's just electric in there. The fans love it. The kids come around for autographs, and we always ask, "What's your favorite event?" It's always floor. I love watching the floor routines. I think really honing in on my performance and like getting into it with the crowd has made me enjoy it so much more.
Ooh, okay. With your floor routine this season, what do you think people who are going to be watching on TV will go see you perform in person? What should they know about your floor routine?
Ooh, I like this question, but I don't even know what to say. I'm trying to think of how I describe mine. I think mine last year was a little sassy.
Okay.
And I think that it still has some hues of that. I love it. There's a lot of beats. It's fast. It is so fast. When I learned it, I did a dance through with no tumbling, and I was like, I need to lay down. But the music it's loud, it's fun. I think the crowd's really going to be into it.
Okay, if you could switch your floor routine with another one of your teammates, who would it be and why?
Okay, 100% Aubrey Kronfeld. Her floor routine last year was my favorite. She had like the Aerosmith mix. And then this year she has a Black Eyed Peas mix. I love the
Ooh.
Black Eyed Peas. It's such a fun routine. Like last year she went in the lineup before me, and I don't watch the people that go before me, but I stood in the corner, I danced the whole routine just like because I love the routine so much. So I would take her routine freshman year, I would take her routine this year. It's such a fun routine.
Cool. Okay, my last question for you. When you described earlier, talking about your team, it's competitive, right? But when you hear the word or words, Arizona Gym Cat, okay, what do you think it takes to be one? Somebody who's watching this and wants to compete for U of A, what should they know?
I think you have to be hungry for it. I've been liking that word. Hungry, devoted, and ready to really buy into the culture. I love the culture here that we've built. It's different every year, but I love it. And I think that to buy into it and be a part of it, it's a necessary step. And it really does feel like a family. And that's what's so special about it. Like from that first trip to how I am now, like it truly is a family environment.
Oh, this girl. I love it. Abby, we wish you luck. We can't wait to watch you compete this season. So excited. Yay.
Thank you. Me too.
When you think about an Abigail Martin, what really excites me about her is the fact that she's still looking for that perfect 10 and that she can do that all around, balance beam, you name it. She's going to be a competitor at every single event. So when I think about, all right, can at least individually step up and take on some of the amazing gymnasts at Utah and elsewhere in the Big 12 conference, I look to a Martin and go, all right, I'm excited to see how she performs this season.
Coming up next, it's Melissa Kutcher-Reinhart, the Denver gymnastics coach. With Sydney Staples, I am Ari Temkin. This is Across the Conference, presented by Allstate on Big 12 Studios.
You are entering your 28th season at the helm of the University of Denver's gymnastics program. Wow. Okay. You have a ton of experience and knowledge. How do you really look back on these past many, many seasons of yours and reflect?
That's a really good question. How do I reflect on it? Well, in all honesty, it's always so busy. There isn't a lot of time to reflect on it. Since I don't usually have time to reflect, I would say I feel more just appreciative and grateful and thankful for all the amazing people that I've had the fortune to be around here at the University of Denver. You know, whether that's student athletes, administrators, parents, friends, fans, alumni, supporters, just so blessed in that piece of that's about the extent of the reflection I probably have time to do. You know, it's always a new season and kind of right in the moment of what you're doing. But I'm very thankful to be at an amazing institution here at the University of Denver that is truly committed to their academic and athletic excellence.
Is there a favorite season of yours? And you can say this one, the cop out, but is there one that you can pinpoint and go, wow, that will forever, you can remember so much of it?
Well, obviously 2019 will always stand out in my mind a bit because that was our first year ever finishing in the Final Four, being in the Final Four of 4 on the floor. And so, and winning an NCAA regional championship. I obviously here when we hosted regionals at home a couple of years ago, that was an incredibly exciting regional that we won here at home. So, but I would say sometimes it's not just the outcome piece of it. It's really what you're seeing in the gym every single day that makes it so rewarding, right? The athletes that are working so hard to learn a new skill or add that skill to a routine or try to learn how to be confident and consistent with that skill. And those are some of the most rewarding moments. So each season has its own blessings, I would just say.
This season, what's been standing out to you in the gym so far?
Well, we have a lot of energy because we have a lot of new people on our team. So I've really enjoyed their youth, their energy. The work ethic probably is the thing that stands out to me the most. They just have a great work ethic.
Oh, incredible. Who should we be keeping our eyes out for? Let's say, I don't know, on vault. Let's be event specific here.
Well, Shaila Bhatia is a strong vaulter for us, one of our freshmen. But I would say it's going to be almost a little bit hard for me to do. And this is going to be, every team is different, right? Every team, every year is different, kind of what you were talking about. And this particular year, well, we've always been a program at Denver where we don't say per se we have superstars. Certainly we have very strong athletes, but it's a collective team effort. I really feel like that's even more so for us this year, right? It's going to be the strength of our year is going to be the collectiveness of our team. And everyone is going to have to play a role. Everyone's going to have to contribute. And so we're going to have to recognize what are our strengths and how are we doing that. So certainly happy to go through every event, but I think that that's going to be what's a little different for us, right? Maybe it's not talking about a per se superstar on each event, but the collective effort from the entire team on every event.
Awesome. When I look back at your past many seasons at the helm, the Pioneers have finished the season in the top 25 every season. So when I think about sustainability and success, you have instilled that in your gymnasts. But what kind of privilege can come with a pressure like that? Do you feel any pressure?
Well, one, thank you. I really appreciate that. And I'm trying really hard to always stay grounded in our philosophy of character, teamwork, and excellence. And of course, nothing is perfect, right? Everything is always a work in progress. We try with this character, teamwork, and excellence to make it more than just words, but action items surrounding those words. And how do we do that every year, right? How do we improve? How do we get better? How do we continue to reinforce our culture? And I think the culture piece is the part of the high performance piece and the sustainability piece and the success piece, right? It's focusing on that core foundation and philosophy of the program that I think leads to that. If I answered your question.
I want to take you maybe even further back to your time as a gymnast at the University of Florida. So not only are you a collegiate athletics coach, you were a student athlete. How do you think you back then as a gymnast would stack up against your gymnasts now?
Oh, they'd be way better than me.
What was your best event? I'm curious.
Yes, it's floor was my best event. I did compete all around, but I'm going to be honest, I was not very good. I was definitely middle of the road, average. And I do feel like, I'm like, it's okay because I think that's why I'm such a good coach. Nothing did, and I hope that I'm a good coach, right? I hope that I'm probably a better coach than I was a gymnast. And because I really had to work for everything, right? Nothing ever per se came easy. So it was a lot of work on really mentally and physically, like how do I work through a skill? How do I work through learning that skill? How do I develop the confidence and consistency in these skills and routines? So while I might not have been the most talented, I did pride myself on a good work ethic, and that's probably one of my values. So that's something that's always instilled in all of our University of Denver teams, but they blow me away. They're much better than I ever was.
When you have the ability to be able to see these student athletes through a lens that you experienced yourself, how does it help you connect with your gymnasts? Not just coach, but get to know them on more of that personal level.
Yeah, it's such a good question. And in past years, again, every team is different. I haven't spoke much or talked much or reflected much on my time as a student athlete, right? But this year I have a little bit more to just remind them that I have done that, right? I've been there. I understand and remember what that's like in the tired days and the days that it requires a lot of grit and resiliency and perseverance and persistence and determination, right? And you're balancing the high level demands of both academics and athletics. And I'm so proud of our team that the academic piece really matters to them, right? And they want to be successful, and we want to put them in a position to be successful when they graduate, whatever they choose to do next in their life. And so kind of just using a little bit of that to remind them. I do remember those days, although they were a long, long time ago. And it's hard to remember, but just some reflection also about how fast it goes. In the moment, it is hard. It can feel like forever, right? And you're doing early morning strength and conditioning, and then your classes, and then you're at practice, and then you're at study hall, and then you've got community service, and the days are full and they're packed and there's lots of things going on. I look at it as such a reward, though, and such an opportunity to continue to grow as an athlete, as a person, as a student, but to remind them it will be a blink of an eye. It doesn't feel like that right now, but you will look back and it will be a quick 4 or 5 years, whatever that might be, and to really take advantage of every opportunity to feel so lucky that you don't have to do this, you get to do this.
Awesome. Coach, wishing you the absolute best. We look forward to seeing you all compete this season.
Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Come January, all right, guys, when we see you next time in the new year, I'm excited to kick things off, and really for the next time we talk to all of you, for us to really get to talking more things on a beam, on the floor, you name it.
Yeah, I mean, so much more to get to in 2026 as winter sports are in full gear. Thank you for joining us on today's episode and each and every episode along with Sydney Staples. I am Ari Temkin. This is Across the Conference presented by Allstate on Big 12 Studios.